Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Unstoppable podcast. I'm Diana Chen, your host, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Matthew Gould, founder and CEO of Unstoppable Domains, and our guest, Robert Hoogendoorn. He's the head of content at DappRadar. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you, Diana. Well, thank you, Matthew. Thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited. So let's get things going.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. So to start us off, I'm just wondering, Robert, how did you get interested in blockchain and crypto in the first place?
In hindsight, I was actually pretty early. 2014, I emigrated to Turkey from the Netherlands, and I was still working for a Dutch company. So I got my money on a Dutch bank account, but I needed it in Turkey. So every time I went to the ATM and I had to pay this commission fee, it's like, there should be an easier way. So that's when I discovered Bitcoin. And unfortunately, I used Bitcoin just as a means to transfer my Dutch euro fiat to Turkish lira. So I didn't really benefit from those early days. But that was my first discovery of Bitcoin and blockchain technology. From that point forward, I was low-key interested. I just used it for transferring money. And as time processed, and I got a bit more interested, started reading a bit more, started reading the news a bit more. I was like, oh, this is actually super interesting. And then Ethereum came, and dApp development started, and that's when I got really interested in blockchain.
Got it. So when you were first starting out trying to learn about blockchain and this new technology, obviously we have way more resources today than we did in 2014. But what did you find to be some of the best ways to learn about this new technology back then when you learned about it? And then what are some of the best resources you see out there today?
When I tell my friends where you need to start is start reading the Bitcoin white paper. It's actually a super simple document. It's not even that long, and it's just a very a good introduction into the technology. Back in the days, I read the most through ICO white papers. So I probably read every crappy ICO that hit the market back then, including, of course, also some really cool ones that are still around nowadays. But basically reading white papers was my original source of knowledge, and later on, I learned about Andreas Antonopoulos, difficult name, but I think he's a very good source for education. He's a very good talker. He's a very good. He's very knowledgeable, and he also does these, I think, quarterly free courses through the University of Nicosia. And it's also a great way to start learning about blockchain. Just doing a free course, getting a diploma as well on the blockchain, which is quite funny. Make your first steps that way.
Yeah, I'm actually a graduate of one of those free blockchain courses out of San Francisco, and I went to the Blockchain U course back in 2013 in South San Francisco. So I like this. I like you came at this from a very practical perspective. I think that's something people here in the U.S. may miss, is when you were trying to transfer money in Eastern Europe back to Turkey. You actually just saved money. So I'm actually kind of curious, what was that like back in 2013? Because I remember trying to buy Bitcoin in 2013. People just assumed that I was buying it for drugs, right? In 2013, so what was that? Were you walking into a bodega to buy some Bitcoin to transfer it across the line? I'm actually kind of curious of what that looked like 7 years ago compared to today, where I can buy it with a credit card on Coinbase.
No, in Holland, we had a couple of websites that actually were pretty fast at offering fiat on ramps. So I just paid using my debit card. And then I had it on my Bitcoin account, and then I need to find a website in Turkey that would transfer it to my Turkish bank account. So I found that as well, and so it actually wasn't that hard. And I understand what you mean. There's the fiat on ramping, and the whole onboarding process into crypto has become a lot a for people. But back in the days, of course, I needed to search a lot. I needed to find out which banks were supported, and it's not like a simple Google search. It took some effort, but in the end, like the whole process was pretty straightforward. Like it also took me maybe 10 minutes behind my computer to transfer the money and get the money to Turkey, and then walk to the ATM. Okay, that's like transferring money from the
Maybe 30 minutes.
yeah, maybe 30 minutes, but still, like it was pretty fast, and it cost me like €2.
And I'm curious, like on $1,000 transfer, how much would you save? Because you were just doing the math. Like you were saying, like you weren't speculating. You were just a practical user of this thing.
No, yeah, I mean it's a 5% fee or 6% fee. It was back then on a ATM transfer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's like, what is it, like 50 euros on a €1,000 transfer. And with blockchain, I was able to make it between €1 and €2.
Yep, I see that.
It's an easy calculation.
Yeah, I'm doing that today, and this is why when people tell me that like crypto will never be useful, but I do probably somewhere between 10 and 30 transfers a month internationally, and I'm paying 50 cents to 250 depending on gas fees or whatever, and like compared to a $30 to $50 wire every time. So I totally get it. So another one, when did you start becoming addicted to checking the crypto price every morning? Because I feel like that's part of the crypto journey. Are you still like completely walled off and keeping yourself out of the speculation on the market? I'm actually curious, like at what point did you kind of fall down the rabbit hole and you're like, okay, this is like all consuming?
Nah, like the latest bull run, so not this year's, but the previous one, that's really like waking up in the morning, checking how much percent increase there was, WhatsApp messages to friends like, oh my god, my portfolio is now worth this much, and yeah, going crazy about it. That I don't do that anymore, not at all. Like at the moment I'm not interested in pricing that much. No, like the meme, in it for the technology, comes into play here a little bit, but like I'm very bullish on blockchain in general. Like I think I don't see this. I'm not in it for scalping profits. I'm not going to have a $100 or like 10% profit and take the profit. Like I'm not doing that. So I see this as like a 10-year investment. So you step into it and you research, you dive into projects that are super interesting, that pique your interest. And at the moment there's so many types of projects, ranging from artistic to financial, maybe social media, gaming. There's so many different products out there that you can invest in, that you can put time in, and yeah, I think it's all about living for the technology in some way. Like it's not about taking profits.
Well, I mean, I
think you make a really good.
Oh, go ahead, Diana. You got it.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Robert, I think you make a really good point there, and I'd be curious to hear some of the use cases that sort of caught your attention initially. Because a lot of people still see this market and think of it as the crypto and checking Bitcoin prices every morning and things like that. But like you said, there's so many other interesting use cases. What are some of the most interesting use cases of the technology in your opinion?
Yeah, like what you just said, it tackles the main problem of blockchain. Like you say blockchain, people think Bitcoin. That's it. That's like the only thing people know, Bitcoin and the word blockchain, and they associate it and see it as one-on-one. Well, it's not. Like blockchain is the rails, and Bitcoin is just one of the many trains riding that rails. So it's but back to your question, use cases. Like the decentralized web. So just to tap into what's in your alley a lot. I think the general purpose of decentralization is giving power to people, and it sounds very revolutionary, but in the end it's not really. Like the internet started 20 years ago as the idea to give people freedom of sharing information. It was not a commercial endeavor. It was the freedom of sharing information, and it has become a commercial endeavor because of cookies and trackers and advertisements and Google and Facebook and blah blah blah. So I think Web3 and the decentralization of information is very important, and you can see that in every aspect in the dApp ecosystem. Look at financial applications. Like, they take the power away from banks and make people the liquidity providers for trading. So you don't pay anymore to the bank, but you pay to other people who give you the opportunity to trade your money or your crypto for other crypto. And I think this power to the people concept is super interesting, and I think that's the general idea.
Yeah, you just have a huge benefit when you remove unnecessary middlemen from things that you're trying to interact with, and you save a lot of money. And then historically, whenever we've significantly dropped the cost of sharing information, really good things have happened. Like printing press, a lot of good stuff happened after that. Internet, a lot of great stuff is happening here. And now we have this blockchain technology here, which actually allows us to share information about basically property ownership and all these other things online. And I think that it's going to just drop the cost on finance by an order or two of magnitude, or moving things around in general. And we're going to have a lot of innovation too there as well. So so a couple of questions that we'd like to ask everybody, and because it's so early, it's how would you explain crypto to someone who doesn't know a lot about it? Like, how do you personally do it when you explain it to people in your network? And then what are you seeing as the barriers to those people adopting the technology over this decade that we're going to have to overcome?
I don't explain crypto that much. Like digital money, it's not something that comes up that much in my environment nowadays. It's more talking about NFTs, NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Like, how do you explain the value of something digital? And then I throw around the example of the Mona Lisa. A non-fungible token is a digital token tethered to the blockchain. So therefore, it's original, proven by blockchain technology. It's scarce, proven by blockchain technology, and it cannot be copied. Also, the ownership is tied to your crypto wallet. So if I have this digital art image, it's tied to the blockchain and therefore tied to my crypto wallet, and therefore I'm the owner. Sure, many people can make a copy of it. They can make a screenshot. They can make a photo, but they don't own it. The same with the Mona Lisa. You can go to the Louvre in Paris, take a photo of the Mona Lisa, print it, hang it on your wall, but you don't own the Mona Lisa. Sure, you have an image of it. And it's the same with NFTs. Like, you can own an NFT, other people can make a copy of it, but they don't own it. They own a copy. And in the end, blockchain allows you to prove that you are the original owner. So, and it shows that you are the original owner, and there's only one copy of that specific artwork or game sword or insurance contract or anything, virtual land, anything.
Well, so I like that answer. You're like, I don't try to explain crypto. I just try to explain the uses of crypto, and you just go right for it. And I actually think that was a pretty elegant description of NFTs, or non-fungible tokens. And we recently actually just did an episode with Devin from OpenSea. So people, if you want to tune in and listen to him talk about that, I think it's another place where people can go and check this out. So this naturally takes us to what you're working on now. So you're over there at DappRadar, and how about just tell us about DappRadar, and then how you guys are seeing all these non-fungible tokens and games and all these apps coming up, and let fill our users in on how they can learn more about this space.
Now, DappRadar originally is a way to visualize data on the blockchain. Not everybody can read Explorer data from the Ethereum blockchain or any blockchain. Dive into transactions from wallet to wallet. It's difficult. You can't get a good overview of what's happening. And DappRadar started with visualizing what's happening on the blockchain. It's a bit of a hardcore thing, like many developers are involved or are checking DappRadar for statistics and for user growth, number of transaction growth. It's a great resource to visualize what's happening with a dApp. What was your question again?
Oh no, I mean that sounds. It seems like you guys have several different tracks. Like you are trying to teach people about DeFi. I see that you guys are also teaching people about games on DappRadar, and so non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, but that's actually like, as head of content, I'm newly appointed. I started a couple of weeks ago, and I want to take DappRadar into the next generation. Like I said, DappRadar is pretty technical, and I want to bridge that. Like I've been working in media for 15 years. I worked on television shows, at newspapers, news agencies, magazines. So I want to bring what DappRadar has, statistics-wise and technically-wise, and translate that into data-driven, newsworthy articles, highlighting trends, explaining people what a dApp does, why that's important. Any question like your mom might ask about blockchain technology should ideally be answered on websites like DappRadar.
I would love to dive into that a little bit more, Robert, because like you said, you are the expert in sort of translating this difficult technology into plain English for the masses. For anybody listening, because a lot of our listeners are sort of new to the space, and for anybody listening who might not be familiar what dApps are, they're decentralized apps on the blockchain. Can you sort of just break that down for our listeners and explain what is a decentralized app on the blockchain? What does it do, and how would people use it, and sort of just outline the basics of that?
Yeah, well, decentralized app or dApp. First of all, I think the word dApp will disappear in a couple of years. We will just call it apps again. But decentralized app is it's basically a contract. Like it's a piece of software written on top of a blockchain that does something with the user input and it gives you something back. Normally, something like that happens on through a server, centralized server, but it can also happen right on the blockchain, and that's super interesting. And there are many use cases, like on financial, in DeFi, decentralized finance, having a trading system that you put in Ethereum and you get some other token back, is also a dApp. It's a trading dApp. If you go a bit further, there are dApps, there are gaming dApps. So you have like a user interface. Maybe you download some software to your phone or to your computer, and that user interface connects directly to the blockchain. So it doesn't connect to a centralized server, doesn't connect to anything else, but to the blockchain. And on the blockchain, it states that your crypto wallet means that you own certain characters, sorts, and through the user interface will then give you your character and your sort, because on the blockchain it's stated that your wallet owns that. And then you start playing through the user interface, and then we come into a bit of a technical story, because in order to play, you might need a centralized server. because the amount of data, let's say you want to play Call of Duty, it's a very fast-paced shooting game. There's no way at the moment that something like that can happen through 100% on blockchain technology. However, elements of that game could be working on blockchain technology. Let's say you play Call of Duty and you're totally hardcore and you prestige that game. Now, like prestiging is like a high level reward. Nowadays, in that game, you just get a digital badge behind your name. That's it. Through blockchain technology, you would earn an NFT that's being sent to your wallet, and then it becomes like something you actually own. Even if the game stops existing, you still have it in your wallet. It becomes a
it's portable.
Yeah, it's portable, and you potentially you can sell it if you want to.
Well, I think it's interesting because I could be on one game and I could be like really highly ranked, and then I could have my game item there, and then I could log into some other game or even on Reddit, and you could see my ranking on that game item if I wanted to, if I wanted to display it. So it's like you can get like this really interesting like social network effect. Playing on these games. And one of the things that I do on DappRadar is actually go to the rankings page. I'm curious, do you think a lot of people go to the rankings page? It's like the first thing that I click on because I just want to see what all the dApps are when I'm going through there. And it's actually incredible that like 2 years ago there was basically nothing here, and here we are now, and there's like a couple thousand apps. When you're looking like out a little bit further, are you seeing the pace pick up for these applications? And are you seeing more like normal applications coming in? I'm just kind of curious where you're projecting the market, at least from your view.
Absolutely, like like you said, 2 years ago, the amount of dApps was super limited. Now we already have a big influx of dApps on a daily basis. We add new dApps to the ecosystem to track, and that amount will only increase. Like during DeFi summer last year, the amount of DeFi projects releasing and becoming stories, like that's of course like the moment something like Sushi Swap becomes a story, becomes something worth talking about. We need to track it. So like, there's so many Sushi Swap, Badger, Uniswap, all those DeFi tools. They came last year, and I think this year we will see a lot more gaming projects, NFT projects coming. And of course DeFi itself won't stop either. I think in the coming years we will see a lot more 100% on-chain systems launching. So systems that combine IPFS with one of the blockchain systems, plus let me see, IPFS, blockchain, and no, that's it. So it's more about when something is 100% on chain, there's no centralized storage. So right now when you buy art on Super Rare or anywhere else, 9 out of 10 times that artwork is stored on a centralized server somewhere, or maybe on IPFS, but it's stored through a centralized manner. And new projects like Art Blocks, they do a very interesting thing in which they store and generate an artwork entirely on chain. So I think we will see a lot more on chain stuff happening, but of course that requires processing power. Know that many people are waiting for Ethereum 2.0. At the same time, other blockchains like Wax, the upcoming release of Flow, they are seizing the opportunity to gain ground.
And that kind of leads into the next one from me, which is like, what do you think the major challenges are? And I guess for dApps maybe, or for these applications, as you like to call them, and do you think it's mostly issues around scaling over the next 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, scaling is definitely an issue. You need to have the right blockchain and the right processing power to deal with a great influx of users. Like at the moment, one of the biggest blockchain dApps is NBA Top Shot. It's running on a beta version of the Flow blockchain, and they are having an incredible influx of new users. And they already had a couple of times that the site went down. The blockchain still works, but they just can't process the popularity. They can't deal with the popularity. And if that kind of stuff happens, scaling will become a problem. And thankfully, many projects are looking at layer 2 solutions. Matic Network is a popular one. Several others are developing their own versions, like Ronin or Immutable X. A bit more technical, but when you talk, what is it called? Plasma or roll-ups or like all those technical solutions to make scaling possible. That we will see a lot more happening in that area as well.
It'll be the jobs of people like you and me, so that everyone listening to this doesn't have to worry about any of that.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
From a consumer perspective, like nobody wants to deal with wallets and private keys, and it needs to be made easy. And sure, like if you have the technical know-how to work with wallet addresses and private keys, then that's great, absolutely. But if you want to get the world on blockchain, then you can't do that. It's not possible. So that's why solutions like Flow and Wax that allow people to create a user account using social media, for example, just using an Instagram or Facebook account or a Twitter account, I think that's great. Of course, you can put question marks behind things like safety or whether it's private or not. But it's from a usability perspective, it's very good.
I hadn't actually thought about that, and that's actually quite interesting. So because I'm looking at the space right now, and there's a few 100,000 like extremely active users, and then maybe a couple million like monthly users that are coming in and actually playing with all of these things on the blockchain. And everyone in the space is like, we know this can 1,000x. Like it's very easy to see 1,000 times more people playing with these applications, because they're actually quite cool once you get in there. And figuring out the user onboarding to make it easy would be a huge step. It would be kind of weird, but I could definitely see how if you sign up for a Facebook account, you could also just generate a key that you don't even need to know about, so that you can start interacting with these blockchain apps. So I guess it could happen a lot faster than even I've been thinking.
Yeah, it's like everybody has Facebook. Nobody has a Wax account,
right.
or like the amount of people with Ethereum address. Like I have probably 20 Ethereum addresses. Some of them hidden, some of them actively using. But ultimately, like nobody wants to deal with that. I'm happy it's something like MetaMask exists. So at least I have all my Ethereum wallets in a nice overview. But like from a user perspective, users don't want to know they're using blockchain. Like the experience they want to have or they need to have, that developers should strive to, is that users interact with an application. And the things they have on the application they own. So I think the perspective of digital ownership needs to change. And when that changes, then we have real blockchain adoption. So users don't need to be bothered with private keys and whatnot. It's more about understanding what digital ownership is, what digital value is when you talk about crypto, what digital ownership is when you talk about NFTs.
I think that may just be the quote of the podcast right here. So I like that. That was laid out very well. And I mean, I agree with you 100% on digital ownership being a huge part of this. So Diana, did he sell you? Are you starting to feel the digital ownership the digital ownership like craving pulling you in?
100%, 100%. I've been sold on this digital ownership stuff. I'm sick of giving Facebook and Instagram and Twitter all my data. I just want to control all of that. 100% sold.
Done. Well, I think on. So I have some questions, maybe more specific about DappRadar. So when you are, it's like the target like when you're trying to target communications to the masses, like you're saying, and you're saying that you think the narrative really needs to be around ownership. Are you trying to target this at crypto users, or I think you're trying to target this to people who aren't quite in crypto yet? And something you said earlier that I thought was interesting is like you thought that people aren't going to call these dApps; they're just going to call these apps. So my question is, do you think that we're going to see more normal apps start to integrate in this blockchain technology? And have you guys at DappRadar seen any normal apps do that yet? Or do you think it's really going to be the crypto people are going to crash into the gates and show these traditional players how to use it? Are there any more traditional players trying to come into the space from your perspective?
I don't see necessarily a influx of traditional people with applications yet, or with dApps yet.
Except for maybe.
However, sorry.
Oh, except maybe NBA Top Shots. I guess that is the NBA partnering with one of these ads.
Yes, I mean you see licensing deals.
Licensing deals,
yeah. Like the NBA giving its license to Dapper Labs to make NBA Top Shots. Atari, even though it's a bit like a fallen giant, still like Atari is now going pretty deep into gaming. They have their own Atari token for gambling websites that they own. Plus, they're tapping into the sandbox. They just announced that they're moving into Decentraland. So they're also a company like that's recognizable for mainstream. That's embracing blockchain technology. So that's something we are seeing more. One thing we don't really see at the moment is like one of those mainstream brands really making their own blockchain dApp. Like what I would love to see is the moment Electronic Arts says, "Okay, we're going to make something for blockchain gaming," or Microsoft says, "Okay, our next Windows is entirely working on blockchain." Whatever, something crazy like that.
Awesome. So one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, Robert, is Play to Own. This is like an editorial online publication that you own, that you started about a year ago. And I know one of your missions with that is to sort of bridge the gap between the gaming community and the blockchain community and also the mainstream media. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's called Play to Earn. But
Play to Earn, sorry, Play to Earn.
I like Play to Own as well. Maybe I will rebrand it.
I've just got this whole digital ownership thing in my head. Everything is like you got to own everything. Play to Earn.
First earn it, then you own it.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
I started Play to Earn a bit out of a slight frustration. Like I started reading about blockchain gaming, like Gods Unchained. Got me into it actually. It's a trading card game. It's pretty fun, and I like trading card games. I also like Hearthstone. So I was like, okay, are there more blockchain games on the market? And I had difficulty finding news websites that covered it. Like there's no IGN or GameSpot for blockchain gaming. There were some websites, but they didn't cover it all. So I was like, yeah, I was really frustrated. I was like, okay, I can be annoyed and post something on Twitter and that's it, or I can do something about it. So that's why I started Play to Earn, and it became a bit of a hobby that's got a bit bigger than anticipated. Like in last November, I organized a virtual festival inside Crypto Voxels, which is a virtual world. Anybody using a smartphone or a PC was able to visit the festival simply by clicking on a link. You would get a digital avatar and just walk through the virtual environment, and you could learn all kinds of things about new and upcoming blockchain games. And it attracted like 6,700 people over the course of 10 days. And this March, I'm organizing a second version of the festival with hopefully new partners, new games to see, new giveaways, and just having a fun time in virtual reality. We are all inside anyway during these quarantine times, so
I was just going to say that sounds like the perfect quarantine activity to do right now.
definitely.
That's awesome. Well, congrats on that. And I can't wait to see where you go with that and can't wait for the next virtual event too. So Robert, before we close here, I just want to do a fun little activity. I've gone through your Twitter account and I've pulled out some tweets that I found to be interesting or that I had a question about. And I'm just going to give you a chance to explain what you meant when you tweeted that.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay. Well, most of your tweets were about, the gaming world and NFTs and things like that. So pretty basic, but I did find some interesting ones. So on January 16th of this year, you tweeted, it's not only about cryptocurrencies, but digital assets in general are gaining value and more utility. Construction. And this was a retweet of the Play to Earn online magazine.
Yeah, it's about the whole. That's actually what I covered. What we covered earlier in this conversation as well. Like the whole concept of cryptocurrencies is Bitcoin, is blockchain, is such a I won't say narrow-minded, because that's not the right word. It's just there's a lack of education there. And with that tweet, I just want to say, okay, listen, there's more than what you know. Open the doors and drown yourself into the and dive into the rabbit hole of blockchain technology, because there's so much to be learned. Like there's also the whole idea of the on-chain insurances and digital ownership. There's a company that's selling digital ownership over actual real estate. I mean, that kind of stuff is crazy if you think about it. And it's awesome that it's there. And just if people would learn about those type of companies, those type of businesses, then that's awesome.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, another tweet. This was from October 26, 2020. You tweeted, I'm launching my own community token for Play to Earn, and you can claim the first 10 play through the article linked below. I was just wondering maybe I'm going down a separate rabbit hole and we have to do a separate podcast on this, but how do you launch your own community token? What goes into that?
Yeah, a lot more than I anticipated. It's the social tokens, they call it. It's I'm doing that one through a company called TryRoll. And TryRoll issues social tokens, so they basically mint everything and they distribute it to the owner's wallet over time. And the idea is that I use that token as a reward for the community of Play to Earn. So when the community shares knowledge with each other, they earn Play tokens. I reward them. I just say, oh, that's a cool tip. Here you have 10 Play tokens. If they write an entire article that I can publish on the website, they earn, let's say, 1,000 Play tokens, whatever. And at the moment, now those Play tokens don't really have value. There are some art pieces you can buy, but that's about it. I don't have a liquidity pool yet. There's no. I can't say though, like 1,000 Play is worth $100 or whatever. But maybe in the future it will become more than a toy. That's officially I can't say that because it's not investment advice. So don't buy Play. Don't buy meme.
I mean, it sounds like a fun little thing, regardless, and it's a good consolation prize or piece of encouragement for people who do cool things. So I like it regardless. All right, last tweet that I want to pull out. This is from December 26, 2020, day after Christmas. You said, join this blockchain-powered Secret Santa program. Fun and interesting stuff. What is a blockchain-powered Secret Santa program? How does that work?
It was done by what is it called? Can you see that in the tweet? Like Bitsky.
Yeah.
Now I remember Bitsky.
Yeah, Bitsky.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Bitsky made a Secret Santa program, so that meant that I would send an NFT to their contract, and in return, I will get another NFT from somebody else. So let's say I would send them a trading card from a certain game, or an Axie from Axie Infinity, or a piece of art. And in return, I would get something else, given by another random person. So it was just something silly. It was really Secret Santa style, and it was kind of fun. I have no idea who my Secret Santa was, but I received a piece of art.
Nice.
So it's kind of cute. It's just something for the Christmas period, and
I'll participate next year. That sounds awesome.
I was gonna say I want in next year too.
Secret Santa on the blockchain.
It was their first time, and I thought it was original and really fit well into the whole blockchain and Christmas spirit, and I was like, okay, I like it.
I'm gonna write to HR after this, Matt, and suggest the Secret Santa Unstoppable
On blockchain?
for next year.
Yeah,
on the blockchain.
I think we should.
Love it. All right. Well, Robert, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate you being here. Before you go, just tell people where they can find you if they want to get connected with you personally, as well as where they can learn more about DappRadar, and what are some of the easiest and coolest things that people can do on DappRadar right away after they sign up.
Okay. First of all, you don't need to sign up for DappRadar. You can just show up, go to DappRadar.com, and on DappRadar.com we have 2 awesome new products. First of all, Portfolio Tracker. So if you are into NFTs, digital assets, or you are into DeFi, we have a tracking system that makes an estimate of your portfolio value. So also estimates the value of your NFTs. This is a very simple version. We are working on improving that. And one of the other products we have is an NFT valuation tool, which is currently in beta, and it provides a valuation estimate for CryptoPunks. CryptoPunks is a digital collectible, 10,000 minted. These are the first digital collectibles on Ethereum ever, so they're highly valuable. Recently, one sold for $760,000. So it's
more than my
really
house.
Insane. Dude, you can buy my house 2 times over, I think. But it's crazy. And so the NFT valuation tool is something we are developing, and it's a very complex calculations are behind it. And we are now implementing that for CryptoPunks. And down the line, we will do that for virtual worlds, for Axie Infinity, and other projects using NFTs. So when you visit DappRadar.com, check out the portfolio tracker and check out the NFT valuation tool.
Awesome.
Well, awesome.
Robert, I just wanted to say it's been a real pleasure because you have lived crypto for like 8 years, and there's not a lot of people who have done that. And like you started off just sending crypto to save money, and then you've made a side project and you created tokens for like karma points for people to interact with that, and then you even did Secret Santa on the blockchain. And the thing that I like about your story is it's about using the blockchain in everyday life. And in the call, I would just say, like, we touched on a lot of topics here. So for our listeners out there, I know that we just touched on a few things at a surface level. So write into us, let us know what you have questions on. But we touched on DeFi, liquidity pools, NFTs, valuation estimates for NFTs. There are at least a dozen projects that we name dropped here. So there's plenty to dig in here. And Robert, I don't even think you realize it, but you've just been in the space for so long that you just take these things naturally. And we need to get more people like you on these shows and talking about it. It's super helpful, and appreciate you coming on. It's been fantastic.
Thank you very much for the invite, Matthew, Diana. Really, it's awesome. I'm an early adopter of unstoppable domains. I have a couple of crypto domains. play-to-earn.crypto exists, so that's I'm super happy with that one.
Perfect. Yeah, one of the very first websites on the DWeb, probably one of the first 1,000 actually.
Awesome. Yeah, I even used your blogging tool when it was very, very early. It didn't meet my requirements though, so I stepped away from it.
Totally.
No hard feelings, I hope.
Yeah, totally understand the technology is super early for everyone to get in and use, and I think companies like Unstoppable Domains and then DappRadar are trying as best as they can to make it easier for people. So if you're like me, go to DappRadar.com, click on the rankings, and then just click on the apps and start reading through them too. That's what I end up doing. Then I click on what's similar to this, and you can get lost for hours. So Diane, I would suggest that highly as an afternoon activity.
I'm there. I'm so there, looking for all the quarantine activities right now.
Exactly. Cool.
All right. Thanks, Robert. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Have a nice day.
All right. You too. Bye.
All right, guys.